This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather. Hold it. It's Jeff Goodman. Welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe birthday boy. And the birthday boy for today, March the 1st, is an IndyCar driver who is driving for Team Penske. He is the current defending IndyCar champion for 2022. He also won in 2014, so he's a two-time IndyCar champion, and the Indy 500 champ in 2018. He's actually fifth in IndyCar history in wins with 41 and number one all-time in pole positions with 68. Now, you'll be thinking his name sounds weird. Well, he's 42 years old today, but that's his name. His name is Will Power. Not Max Power and not Will Power, you know, the thing that you can do it and all that stuff. But no, Will Power. Anyway, he was born in Queensland. And he started driving cars when he was 18 and all that. He went to Formula Ford for a while and then went to Formula Holden, winning the 2002 Australian Drivers' Championship, winning 7 races. And then he went to Australia Formula 3 and almost won that. Anyway, he went to Europe in 2003 to join the British Formula 3 racing thing. And he ended up 9th in 2004. He would actually test a Minardi Formula 1 car in 2004. But then he went to the World Series of Racing, sponsored by Renault. It was very competitive, winning a couple of events. Then he went to Australia to join the A1 Grand Prix thing. And then in 2005, he would join Champ Car Team Australia and race at Service Paradise in Australia. Anyway, he was actually knocked off the track by Alex Tangolani, his own teammate. But after his performance in Australia, he signed a multi-year contract, being Champ Car and all that. He was signed because Marcus Marshall was actually released because of a serious breach of contract. Anyway, so Power drove for Team Australia in 2006. He performed well with 9 top 10 finishes. So anyway, he actually ended up taking 3rd place in Mexico at the final race and won the Rookie of the Year award. He actually, in his home race in Australia, was on pole position, aka he got to start first. All that. Unfortunately, he ended up 12th because of a contact from Paul Tracy and Sebastian Bourdais. Anyhow, on April 8th, 2007, just a day before my 22nd birthday, he ended up winning his first Champ Car race at the inaugural Vegas Grand Prix, becoming the first Australian driver to win in IndyCar. I thought there were a couple Australians who did so, but it didn't matter. So, anyway, with terrible raining and all that at the Grand Prix of Toronto, or the Molson Indy, as I should say, he managed to take from 4th to 1st within a 14-lap thing and went on to win the title, to win the match. So he looked pretty good. He even had podium finishes in Long Beach, Mont-Tremblant, Quebec, and Mexico City, taking 4th in the final points in 2007. So Champ Car and the Indy Racing League were combined to make IndyCar. Well, this is Champ Car. So anyway, so I guess you kind of know that Champ Car is not really the IRL. So it wasn't sure that Will Power's team was going to move to IRL. But he then signed with KV Racing to drive the number 8 car. He won at Long Beach, winning his first race. He would score 2 top 5 finishes in IndyCar races and all that. In Australia, where they had the non-points event, he crashed out while leading the race. Anyway, so Penske actually announced that Will Power would join their thing and replaced Helio Castroneves because Castroneves had to deal with his tax evasion problems. And so Power drove the number 3 car to 6th place in St. Petersburg at the first race. Fortunately for Castroneves, he was acquitted of his tax charges and returned to the team at Long Beach. Will Power was given the number 12 car with Penske, though, too, so he was still officially there and all that. Anyway, he ended up finishing 2nd place to Dario Franchitti, but he did pretty well. He took 3rd place at the Indy 500 and all that. Power was actually retained to drive in 5 more races. And he actually won the race at Edmonton, at the Edmonton IndyCar event. So anyway, he had a bad accident at the Sonoma IndyCar race where E.J. Fizzle crashed into him. Power suffered 2 fractured vertebrae. Thankfully for Power, he would be back in time at Team Penske to race in the 2010 season and won both at Brazil and St. Petersburg, becoming the first driver in 9 years to win the first 2 races. All that. He won at Watkins Glen, and, well, Power won 5 races, all on road courses. He was the road course champion for the 2010 IndyCar Series, but did not win the overall title. So in 2011, he won 6 races. And, you know, it looked pretty good. He had an 18-point advantage in IndyCar. But unfortunately, Power's season ended in a violent 15-car crash in Las Vegas. Unfortunately, that's the race that claimed Dan Weldon's life and all that. Well, no, Power was down by 18 points. He was hoping to win the title. But because the race was abandoned because of what happened to Dan Weldon, he didn't have it. He did have a vertebral compression fracture in thoracic vertebrae and had surgery to correct the problem. But fortunately for him, he was back for the 2012 season. And he was aiming for the 2012 title, but unfortunately, he hit the wall on lap 55 of the last race at Autoclad Speedway in Fontana, California. But Ryan Hunter-Reay got the 5th place on the late in the race, which meant that he beat Power. So for the 3rd straight year, Power ended up being 2nd in the race, the championship points thing. 2013, he ended up 4th, and then 2014, he knew he had something going. At Fontana in the final race, he took 9th. However, he was so far ahead, it wasn't even funny. He was too far ahead of Helio Castroneves for a race to the finish. So Will Power did it. He stood on the championship podium and finally won one. 2015, he almost won the final race at Sonoma that would have gotten him back-to-back titles, but he lost to Scott Dixon. So anyway, Power would finish 2nd in the points again in 2016, 5th in points in 2017, 2018. You know, he won the Indy 500 2018, so that was amazing to see for him, the Aussie. 2019, he won a few races that meant that he won a race in 10 straight seasons. And then won the Indy 200 at Mid-Ohio for his 11th straight year of winning at least one IndyCar race. And then in 2021, He almost lost his spot on the Indy 500. He just qualified 32nd out of 33 cars and all that. But Will Power won on the Indy Motor Speedway road course to continue his streak of years with a IndyCar thing, getting 12. And then he won a race, making it 13 straight years he's won at least one race. And there were still 5 drivers at Laguna Seca that could have won the title. Power survived Joseph Newgarden and Scott Dixon's attempts to unseat him, and now he's the IndyCar champion coming into this year, 2023. Will is married and they have a son, Bo. So Will Power's done a lot of things. He's won 2 IndyCar series. He's won a race every year for 13 years. That's pretty impressive, don't you think? Yeah, I think so too. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.